The power of God for each person. Transformation. Jesus changes things.
Not long after Chris and I married, the gravity of the situation kind of hits me. It's like, I've got more to think about than just me. So I really fallen under conviction. I know I need to change the way I live. So Chris and I began to, get into church and be involved in with a small child. I know the importance of trying to, raise him right, and raise him in church. And so we began to do that. And it's funny. I don't really know when or where or how all that took place. It's kind of, I know now that I am secure. We did all the right things, and we were good. We were good people, and I, probably even in my worst rebellion, I still think I was a good person, but it wasn't until things weren't going my way when it really made me cry out to Jesus. After high school, well, I was working a full-time job on second shift while I was going to high school. Had VOTEC, and mom and dad didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted a truck, and I knew I had to go work for it. So I was running a bandsaw for Hickory Springs, cutting polyfoam for the furniture factories. And I was proud of myself. I was kind of independent and had my own money. I was still living at home, but I was kind of on my own.
Marty's story starts like so many, an identity of self-sufficiency, independent, strong will, good work ethic, living life to its fullest, doing what he wanted to do, pride, and being a good person. What do you do when life is galloping along, then suddenly you are thrown?
That was in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And Lane Frost was kind of popular back then, and 88 and 89, something like that. But yeah, it was kind of, it was on, George Michael had him on the sports machine all the time. It was kind of a cool thing. And then all of a sudden I know a guy who does that, and I've got access to going and getting on one, and somebody to kind of show me how it works and how things go. And then, you go and you try it, and it's harder than you think, but the competitor in you kind of makes you want to try again and keep going. And then, but that was along about the time most of the guys that I was doing that with were I guess maybe you might call them the rough guys, and me being independent, living at home, but independent and on my own, that was in maybe a little rebellion against mom and dad, but, because I was making it myself, making my own money. I didn't really answer to them. I didn't call them and tell them where I was and that kind of stuff. And, we started going to rodeos on the weekend, and we'd go to one and just go to the other, never come home. And, that's where I was that's where I was introduced to marijuana, in the beginning. Of course, drinking and playing around with that kind of stuff in high school, but I began to use marijuana pretty regular, during that time. But I met Chris that time just from mutual friends. I went to the city school, and she went to the county school here, so we didn't really know each other. And then we were introduced and went on a blind date, and it's kind of funny I tell this. The first date that we went on at the dinner table, I mean, she burped like a man, and I thought, man, I love her.
Yes, I remember that. And my thing that I remember, other than it just being a safe date, and I had a lot of not so safe dates in the past, and he was fun, and it just felt right. It just felt like it was right.
I'm rodeoing and going around, but then Chris and we get married. So, I realize that I've got more to think about than just myself now. But I'm still kind of chasing my thing. I'm doing, I wouldn't ever really say that I was good at it, but, I would win a little money here and there, and, just enough to make me think that I can do this, I went through and I really felt God, convicting me of the way that I was living, because, hey, I'm married, I have a family, and now I'm still acting like it's just me, so I really felt under conviction about that. And I went through a stretch when I was actually riding pretty good, and then it was like all of a sudden the series of events that happened, it was just rodeo after rodeo. I mean, one right after the other. I mean, hang-ups and wrecks and hookings. I mean, just nothing ever went right. It was just, and I was just getting beat up and banged up all the time. And then we were in Louisville, Mississippi. They had come to the rodeo, and I got jerked down and hit in the face. And it was like Chris had to take me to the hospital.
I remember it happening and us taking him to the hospital, and just me not wanting to be there and not wanting to ever do this again, and praying that this would be the period at the end of that life.
It was, I had a long ride home to try to think about that, and that was, it was hard for me to quit what I wanted to do, but I did, and so everything changed. My lifestyle changed after that. I became dad, and I that was a breaking point, but still not the breaking point. The breaking point comes, ain't been that long ago, Casey. You find yourself in a situation that you truly have no control over, and the cry out to God is, like, really real.
How do you know when you have to make a change? The reality of knowing you have messed up. What lie are you believing? How do you know what the truth is? You know you can't continue doing what you love because you see the danger it is creating in your life and in the lives of your family. You hold nothing back. You give it all to God. There is power in the name of Jesus. Through the pain, The answer to our prayers becomes so real. The yeses are loud, and the no's are completely understandable.
And there's a lot of stuff in between there, Casey. From the comfort and the complacency and the negligence on my part, of Bible study and seeking. Things began to happen that I think's out of, it's out of my control. But it is out of my control, but I want to keep my finger on it all the time. That was, Ryan was older. Ryan and Reed are 9 years apart. So it's like I was dad with Ryan for all those years, and then here comes Reed. It's like almost starting over again, 9 years later. So I guess you think that you've got it figured out, and there are things that you might do different. You want to do things different with this one, but, and I don't know, Reed always had this, I don't know, I just always saw this potential, and I pushed him really hard, and he didn't take to it, if that makes any sense. When I look back now, I see, I told you before, I think that we all look at it like, I'm going to church, I'm attending church, I'm a good person, I've walked the aisle, I've been baptized, but the circumstances that I found myself in, I find myself successful. I have a family, I have a home. Things start to go wrong at work. They don't go my way. So that began the drinking again. It was just frustration from work, and I go with the guys and just to unwind.
I knew he was playing golf or going on hunting trips or doing this and doing that, but I didn't know why he was. The real reason why he was doing it was to get away from all that. It was his times at the barn. I didn't know about that until later.
At the same time, Reed is rebelling. And no matter what I do, I can't make him do what I say. I can't make him do anything. And I can't understand why. It's so frustrating to me. And I began to feel like such a failure. As a man, as a father. So the drinking began to get more and more. I don't know that if I consider, even looking back now, I don't know that I consider myself an alcoholic, or addicted, but I was a user. I used it to help me forget about my failures. It helped me escape responsibility. I just tried to forget about it, and that's what I started out, a little at a time, and then next thing you know, I'm drunk every day, and then cancer. I'd been hurting for a while, but ignored it. That Friday after work, we actually were at the church, Cooper and Shelby Knight, were having their wedding rehearsal, and we were there at the rehearsal dinner, and I was hurting.
I knew he was, but I didn't know the depth of the pain, and because I was brushing it off as we were getting older, we were overweight, thought he had pulled something, swinging the golf club.
But we leave the supper, and we come home that night, and I just couldn't get comfortable.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh gosh, he's got a kidney stone, or it's appendicitis. I was just thinking gallbladder, any of those things that you can immediately go to the hospital and get fixed and get removed, and it's no big deal.
All right, that was Friday night. I never went to bed that night. I couldn't sleep.
Okay.
And around 2 a.m., I woke Chris up. So that would have been 2 a.m. on Saturday morning. I woke her up and I said, we need to go to the doctor. I thought maybe I never had a kidney stone or anything like that, so I thought maybe that's just what it was, you know. But I had to have some relief. I just couldn't take it anymore. And after we got to the emergency room, it's pretty blurry. I mean, I pretty much blacked out from pain.
So this totally caught y'all by surprise.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I can remember sitting when we did get to the ER in Tupelo and sat there, and they kept coming in and trying to give him some pain meds, and nothing they gave sufficed. And I was just waiting on him to hurry up and do the test and come tell us, well, we're fixing to send him to emergency surgery and get the gallbladder out, or, you know, kidney stones or something like that. But when the head ER nurse doctor came in and said, we're immediately sending you to UAB. This is a mass a lot larger than what we deal with. And of course, that was not anything what we had planned.
But I remember laying in there on the table, and the thought came to my head, there's power. There's power in the name of Jesus. And Chris told me she remembered me saying Jesus.
Even though we know God was already there, He was there. But it was like we needed Him right then more than any other time.
Those days in the hospital bed, I had plenty of time to think, you know, and really take inventory of me. That was in April. That was April the 1st. Reed came to stay with me in the ICU and spent the night with me one night. And, you know, we were he and I had been pretty opposite for a while. And, but he stayed with me, and, you know, we had a chance to talk, and I had an opportunity to apologize for a lot of things that I'd done and said to him. And, I think it was there when there was a mending began between our relationship, you know. After coming home from surgery, you know, just, I mean, I'm still kind of in shock. I really don't know what's going on. And they told us that, I think it was 10 days after the surgery, we were at home then, that they called me and told me that it was cancer. It hit me pretty hard. I didn't know. I didn't really think it would hit me that hard. I'd been thinking about it and anticipating what it might or might not be, you know. And but man, there's nothing scarier than the unknown. But as I got stronger and kind of getting my strength back, getting back on my feet a little bit, and feeling better, you know, it was. Those old tendencies, you know, they were coming back again. And, you know, I kind of remember I just want things to get back to normal, you know, whatever that was, you know, just get back to normal. And I even found myself drinking again. I didn't drink so much as I smoked. And I remember one day, it wasn't very long after I was at home, but I remember, you know, my life turned upside down here. You know, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what the future holds. And things with, you know, my relationship with Reed was still kind of, I mean, on the mend, I think, but still, you know, still a little rocky, I guess. And I love him, and I want, you know, I never wanted it to be that way. And I just, you know, this was just going to be who I am. You know, I'm just going to be the drunk old man, you know. And but it was like, God began to speak to me. I realized that I was believing a lie.
That wasn't an identity that God had given you, was it?
That's right. And it was like I could hear him saying, that's not true. And that was a breaking point. It's a place that I would go and smoke. Right here, barn.
If you don't mind, show me kind of where some of this stuff went down.
That's where I kept everything hid, you know, and it was like I heard God say, that's not who you are. You know, that's a lie. And I remember I broke down, and I know that's hard to believe. I'm pretty emotional, but I broke down. I was like, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. And it was like, I'll show you. that was it. That was the breaking point for me right there. And I remember then saying to myself that well, how am I going to know? How am I going to know what the truth is? I know God's word is true. I know that's true. So if it's opposite of that, it's got to be a lie. And I knew then, I said, well, there's no way I can read and discern what is true and what's a lie if I got a cloudy, foggy head. So I threw it all away. And I began to read my Bible. And listen to him. That's what changed everything. Romans 8:28. You know, people use that a lot about God working all things for good for those called according to His purpose. And His purpose is for us to know Him. So what I have to ask myself in that is my definition of good the same as God? That's kind of where that's the question that I go back to a lot. Because I do believe He's good. And
but
I don't believe He's done. Our Sunday school class has been such a vital part of just all of this, really. I mean, Kevin Walls, he and I are very close. Kevin's the one that I confess to. Pretty much everything that we've talked about here, I told Kevin. And then that kind of produced within the Sunday school class, and just in our lessons, not anything intentional, but it was just as we began to, as we began to study, we began to share. Hey, this happened. This happened to us. And it was almost like as we began to open up and be, vulnerable and, kind of stop having secrets, other people did too.
Through the prodding of the Holy Spirit, Marty started leading a Bible study at the Chase House. Marty knew what these guys were going through. He knew their struggles with addiction, and the guys could relate with Marty because he had been in the same place in life that they were in. Confession, accountability, obedience, and realization.
Coach, with his connection with the jail ministry and knowing Mason, when Mason first started the Chase House, they needed men to come and to, lead devotion. And so one day after Sunday school class, Coach Morton, he approached me and told me that. And he said, "I want you to pray about it." And I said, "Man, I already have." That was after a time of really reading my Bible and praying and asking God to use me. How can you say no?
So Marty has shown up and been there since day one with the Chase House. That speaks volumes. He cares about those men. He cares about each and every one of them. He's also going through the fire. He still showed up, and that's just all I can say. Is I love him. He's my 3 a.m. friend I can call if I have a problem, and he's somebody I can count on.
You and I talked about, maybe some material, and I remember you saying something to me. It was, what better way to learn than to teach? He said, you said you don't want to look like an idiot. And I mean, I remember that, but it encouraged me to be diligent in my study, and to take it seriously. And I do take it seriously. It's been really rewarding to do that, and I see people different. I think I have a connection with some of those guys. The only difference between me and them is they got caught. A lot of them. That's the only difference. And I don't know that. I don't know if being an addict and a user is the same thing. I don't really think I was an addict or anything, but definitely a user. And I think wherever that falls, it all begins as a user. And the reason behind it, using something to take away the pain, that's not Jesus, just leads to disaster. There's I can look back now and see that everything that happened prior to all this, and my circumstances, and even with I blamed myself for a lot of the things that Reed was doing, but he makes his own decision. I look back now and I see it, it's not my fault. Could I have done things better? Absolutely. But I don't wear that. I don't carry that like I did. And I know that the only reason that I come to that place is just because of the peace that God's given me, whereas before, I was carrying and holding on to that, thinking it was my fault and I had to fix it. And there was, I had to do something about it, and I couldn't. And, that just sent me spiraling into a place of trying to forget about it, I think that's the place that I was in my, in my mind and my thinking, and just, and anytime you alter your mind, it can take you to a dark place.
Changes the game.
Yeah. And I spent plenty of time there, and I can't imagine going back there, but I understand, when I see those guys at the Chase House and I see the struggle that they're in, I mean, I can relate to it. I understand. I know that life stinks. sometimes, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. But you don't have to do that. There's a better way. And I found a better way, or he found me, and I want to tell him about it.
Marty was first diagnosed with cancer early in 2022. He had surgery in April of 2022, where a large tumor was removed from his abdomen. The cancer returned in 2025. He had a second surgery on April the 11th, 2025, and this was a big surgery. After the surgery, the doctors told Marty they felt like they had gotten everything, and Marty told them he knew they had gotten everything.
We went in there with no doubt. They did the scan. The doctor looking at it, and of course I just love looking at his face when he looks at it, and he said, well, guys, there's nothing there. And of course he looks at us, and I just went, I said, that's our God. And I did. Now, I don't know if I did scream and shout. I hope I did. I wanted to do cartwheels, but I can't do that anymore. But it was just knowing that God had done the impossible.
And he's not done yet?
No, he's not done. He's not. Because we go in October, and we'll just do another scan for them to see that nothing's there. So,
there you go.
And if there is, we will handle that.
I can't imagine living any other way now. I still have struggle, but I don't give in to them. I know that he's real. And I know that he's good. And even with everything that is going on with my health, I still don't know what that's going to look like. But over and over, things keep happening that makes me trust. Strengthens my faith. Makes me okay with whatever happens. The unknown is still scary. But I know that his plan for me is perfect. And whatever he has for me, he'll provide me with what I need.
And Marty and I both have said, that we would do every bit of this all over again, as hard as it was, because of where we are right now with the Lord and with our family. It's worth it. It's worth it.